Is that so? Because just last night, if I'm not mistaken, I also saw the performance of the Liquid ID team that carries the name of our country. There was Hanzo who also came out. Will he be one of the pocket picks? It could mean yes. It means you really have to be careful in terms of drafting, because you can't expect anything with any hero choice. The Liquid ID team, even though they are in the first pick too, doesn't rule out the possibility of heroes that are out of their zone that they can take. But now we will see first the presence of Kalia 1cc and also Arlet. This immediately becomes a priority. Yes, even though the last one was used by Kin, yes. But you still have to be aware of the presence of Arlet too, but it turns out that Kin plays.
Where,
Yes, I won't be disappointed. I won't be disappointed. Oh, that's why Arlet is still in the band. Calm down, don't be disappointed.
Brats, don't be disappointed. Yes, that
means Arlet is the first and last, right? Yes, yes, yes. It's over. It's over. Arlet is over. Once upon a time, his debut was immediately on fire. Arlet is no longer in his history, right? In his dictionary. Again, we see Yusin Shin Lanelot's dilemma, but it turns out that the priority is still towards Yusin Shin for the first pick, opening up the immediate option to secure Lanelo. And the options are now wide open for Povius for both teams. If we talk about Povius, it's actually more advantageous for Dewa here because with someone who has the ability, if he gets zoned out even a little, he will be very troubled with Herod. It turns out that Lelo can be picked third. A very good option from Dewa Coach R has considered that Povius will be freed up with the presence of dash heroes that can be maximized from his own Dewa team. But what I remember from Joe aka Chin, also from the MDL, he really has high self-confidence.
Joe or Jew?
Is it true that he has
2, 3, 4.
Jew. J. Still J. No. Jew. No.
Jew. No. Enough.
Okay. Back again. What about this Joe? He's very confident, like he is. When he's interviewed, he's always confident, so it's visible from the game. Yes, it will definitely affect his in-game direction, although with Disjin, maybe at the beginning he won't be that brave. But later we'll see his performance when he has enough items, because Lelo will still be secured in the end. Head-to-head that we always see today. But there are Gatot Kaka and also Chuzin who were also eliminated by the Liquid ID team. Wow, this is crazy. In terms of face drafting, I feel that the Liquid ID team also answered quite well. Yes, with Zukin, it means the Vision must be more careful because they are afraid that the hero brought by Kabuki will really answer for his PVUs. Meanwhile, for the selection of the band, of course, they want to make the PO more viable. Because when his Povis will be an enabler hero for the Lelo Herod team, it's just a matter of following what Kin does. Okay. Yeah. And if we look at the presence of Cho who is also closed, this could be a preventive measure, target B as well as to avoid any power pickoff that can be played by Dewa United. Because with the presence of Povis, the follow-up will be very fast if there is an instant pickoff from Cho. Asalda, yes, one of the enemies can answer too.
One of two. One of
two, yes, there are already two.
Harrots.
Not just Fias, right Harrot?
Yes, not just Fias. Remember there's also Herod who would be really sorry if there was Esmeralda.
Okay, but the last ban from the Liquid ID Lunox team. Wow, yes.
Lunox to Octa, yes, can be like a target.
There's already Cho, and Kalia has also been closed. So, using a hero like a hero pack that has a pick-off is really like being closed, or what? Jauhad most of the rest is.
Head.
Maweza that is the most often badass Lunox if not Cho Lunox.
Combo yeah I don't.
Think I've seen Maweza use Kaya like that.
Franco hasn't either yeah.
Yeah before I wanted Pars yeah.
Because the midliner turned out.
Because Chow was already closed yeah so yeah they thought he wouldn't pick off.
Hunox also doesn't seem to break yeah if for example there's no Cho. For other pick-off heroes it doesn't seem to be too much of an achievement for now. There will be some gaps that can be maximized if it's really forced.
There's Zuxin because right, why?
There's no safe bush for playing pick-off. For playing HBD. But if Musa uses Mahdi how to play it is.
Okay, as long as the midliner is also a midliner who can make team fights, who can open team fights there's no problem. Let's say later the midliner turns out to be Valentina, she takes EOG, so later the combination with Poos will be really good for the
body again, yeah.
Okay, Garrett Glass meets Hose, that means yes. Add up Poe damage on Romer's side. This means that now the Hero Express for Aaron Kapovius will definitely be a very worthy opponent. Badang badang.
Because Esmeralda is closed, right? So, Lapu Lapu will be a good option here. And, the damage in the early stages is also no joke, right? For Lapu Lapu, the contest in the turtle area will be interesting, seeing the head-to-head equip with Granger. Yes, in terms of damage output, for Jin it won't be too big, so, it will be equipped from two sides only, Jason, Shin with Granger.
GVK last.
Oh, it could be because no one can really hit back directly, but it's fun again like before, the double slow effect.
Can appear, Lagos Po CV, wow, just play in the real war box.
Plus Harriet, his damage is also area.
Yes, it's troublesome, this is really what's better, just on his Ray. Targeting from Lelo will definitely be really easier to punish.
So Valent is
playing AOG, huh?
Hey, wait, playing EOG or BR fighters?
Both are good actually, but if we talk about Lapu Lapu's ultimate cooldown, it's interesting. Or Yunin, because she's all affected by coffee. It's true that she can be played. But, what is clear is that Valentina is a good pick as long as her use can be maximized and followed up with several other heroes, yes. Damage dealers, especially Harriet, will be needed along with Lelo and, yes, the Liquid ID team has a lot of homework to do in this match. Alright, now we will see what the third match on the second day, the second week will be like for the Liquid ID team, who will face Dewa United, who are also on a positive trend. What kind of execution will they show? Let's go to the land of Dawes. Lane of Down for the first game. With BF series, making anyone who can get the first game will immediately secure match point, and with the choices of heroes brought, again this Triomid is quite dangerous for Dewa's friends, with Hylos who will meet Chussin again will be quite difficult. It's a
pity
for the early game being
raised in Pokpang, it will still be troublesome, and this is the veteran versus the young blood, which we will see of course from the average damage given by maybe is quite high. However, maybe even at that time had an element of surprise when he brought Bitrix during 1v1 against Skylar.
Bitrix, okay, but there wasn't too much aggressiveness that was significant, only a little disturbance in the El Wonder area which was actually still secured by the Liquid ID team without any significant disturbance. Leto was released because the Liquid team was superior in that area. Weeza was definitely going to be hit by Keel continuously. Meanwhile, if we talk about Wide Eye, because so far we haven't seen any revitalization or significant damage, it will be safe for Wid too. Yes, so this time is indeed from the Liquid ID team for their mid area they are quite in control huh. And this is also something that must be considered in terms of damage output. For the players from the Liquid ID team, there are quite a lot of emblem penetration that they can provide. This will be quite strong too in this laning area. The
bottom L has started to show its kid. There is also Joe there, but Joe's targeting and objective seem to really want to get level 5 first before the first turtle comes, so he keeps farming, and farming. Meanwhile, the top L also had a freeze minion. It seems like maybe they can win control of their equilibrium minion.
But still, the main focus now is on the two sides of the XP liner area. You should see the turtle that will soon be opened. Although the 1v1 situation in the top area is also quite interesting. But look, Joe suddenly managed to get the turtle belonging to the Liquid ID team. Octa was forced to retreat with his flicker too. Will the situation be avenged? Because Mweza will be in the front line, hit by two people's dark wave at once, Inferno person. But Witty was too far from the mark and Ray's re-entry resulted in this first world becoming a price to pay. But Kin was too superior and even survived his dive in with a single flicker. In the end, it had to be opened, but it didn't matter the considerable profit in exchange for a turtle that they had to give up earlier. Wow, this was truly an extraordinary advantage from Dewa. They exchanged for a quick target. It turned out to be Wid who got first blood. Meanwhile, if we look at Ryan, who would certainly get a share of the gold, he was still slightly more favored. 1v1. Oh, Aaron was brave enough to be countered with a brav fighter and even became a terrifying 1v1 from the two black spanners and who could and Kin. The newest liner from Dewa United who really looks stunning. Yes, stunning. The nation's hope from Dewa United proved enough to get an elimination point in the first 3 minutes, and now it's Professor KB's turn versus everybody. Every game, there is, yes. Look at the MVP. This Bossilkin is said to have stolen the attention because since yesterday, he really did an outplay that is usually done by the jungler, mid lane, and gold lane. But he is a liner, just happened to, But the problem this time Octa was still able to retreat, it seems with one last hit, and even YL with Crimson Benin immediately chased and made sure that Octa had to swallow his first point. Phantom execution was only for escaping from the threat in the mid-lane area, and Raisin who started to head towards his gold area from a weed. Why, maybe alone, 1-on-2. It seems only to be able to clear as quickly as possible and push back the players from the Liquid ID team. But the turtle has now reappeared with a fast rotation, yeah. Sure, because it follows the river water too, especially Mweza who tried to set up outside this. If for example Joe took it again, this would be very advantageous for the Liquid ID team. But it seems there is one level that benefits from Aizen Shin, so that the Liquid ID team is more favored from this setup. Yes, and the setup has indeed begun to be created without the presence of both gold liners. Just waiting for the momentum, yes, because both assassins will wait until their turtle is quite dying, immediately heading towards Aaron. And we will see how this time Joe succeeds again to get turtle, the heart of the Liquid ID team. But the fight is inevitable with Aram having to retreat to the back. Avatar of Guardian is still not visible. Winnie chooses to retreat and disengage without exchanging any lives at all, the second terminal without any casualties. The advantage is clearly in the hands of the Liquid ID team. But looking at Dewa, they also managed to push several waves that might be quite dangerous later. And as long as the gold line area is not disturbed, look at Kabuki. The problem is, Kabuki this time has to face 3 players at once from Dewa. Backup has also been done with the presence of Yasil and Widai. There are no more team fights and they choose to play very disciplined. Wow, it seems like Dewa also doesn't want to take risks, because the Liquid team has been seen from the start that they won from PTER, superior level plus with the turtle setup that was one almost perfect turtle for the Liquid team, almost 2,000 gold ahead. The problem is, maybe this time with Reza Manford, wow, it seems like they can't hold on any longer because Urania has also entered again with BR Fighter. But Buza drove away the players from the Liquid ID team. But the problem is there is Kin 2 with Infernal Person who will immediately try to give back the attack. But Oktanya is gone. Sinya is also alone and drives away Kabuki. Mwa is completely zoned. But on the other hand Kin versus everybody and even still has time to get a life from Kabuki and Kin. Will he be able to survive? There is still Cyclone A to escape first. But it seems Kin will turn the situation back around. Musa helps, but the problem is Kin is really superior and almost managed to survive. But the 3 players from the Liquid team who finally covered him did not survive in the end, but look how much time he was able to waste, which made the Liquid ID team only focus on one point. Professor wow, this is Dewa United. They really found a true express liner capable of holding that long. Now it's just a matter of how Dewa utilizes Kin as a frontline. As I mentioned earlier, if there was even a fraction of a second, Kin's Infernal Pursuit would have been different. Ray almost stole it. But Wid immediately didn't put his body on the line, and Liquid ID secured the perfect turtle. Yes, an additional objective, and it would be even better if Kin could get a lot of buy. Oh ho, but again, with the GR padaway that FCH had spread out, his Kabuki disappeared in Ray's hands. This allowed Dewa United to slowly catch up. Yes, they should have started catching up, having lost their gold liner. But the problem was that the turret objective still couldn't be reached, and the main target was now heading to the bottom lane first. Open Aaron and Yasil against 4 players who had begun to be monitored around the bottom lane area. Wow, but the problem was that Liquid had already started setting up their ups too. Eater of Guardian aimed for 2 players at once, unbreakable, becoming an unlocked fighter combo. But look how this time Joe managed to get a double kill, leaving only 2 players remaining, even from behind. But Joe got the reward he deserved. Widai was still able to retreat, but really tried to disrupt what was there. With the Dark Wave, it was lifted again and executed by Eren, killing, like securing a very costly 3-for-1, 3-for-1. Clearly, for the Liquid ID team, they finally regained the advantage they had held, but there was no additional turret lag objective. And looking at the itemizations, this was starting to become dangerous. Kabuki had to be guarded tightly by Dewa United, because Skypers were already in hand.
But Ray, finished with Broad Force, would be increasingly difficult to catch than Ray with Lunello. Meanwhile, Eren, with his H-strike damage, would be very sufficient to be able to get behind. Octa now has to pay attention to his positioning because he doesn't have enough gold to defend himself or even deal damage to Eren. So, like it or not, Octa has to be with maybe side by side.
If he is zoned by Eren. Yes, he has already been picked off 3 times by Octa. Not a good number for a midliner, and yes, there are several options to secure it. But looking at Rihan's execution, he is really hurt because Eren didn't make a defense item for his Landolo. And that will be quite dangerous, considering that now the setup has started to be done by Dewa United players, waiting for the momentum from Akin or Buza to open the initiation. And the Liquid ID team, slowly but surely, they will try to dispel Yaskel's presence in Ray's front line, who must be guarded from the opposite direction. Wow, Ray's way to peek into Lord's area is starting to be closed off, which is being pulled back first. But, it seems with Wid ready to provide initiation and Ray already being hit, it's too painful, half his health is gone. But it seems they still don't want to back down. There are still efforts they can do, especially with Kin and Mueza. I think they are thick enough to be in the frontline area. And this wasted time should actually be maximized by both teams. Don't let them lose some jungle monsters in this long time.
Topple show Eren why.
Oh, he didn't close it. Jay immediately closed the way for Ray. Now Ray will get level 14. The same level as Joe. This will be an interesting addition or an interesting stretch because Dewa has only been playing around in the river area.
Yep. And Dewa should have opened it with a straight pathway, at least chasing the players away from ID. But the problem is they just got the gap. Yes, it has started to be initiated again. Dark connects directly to the 2 directions while extending the Leo from Wide-Eye, but with not enough time he has to fall. Likewise, CYA at the front got a Jin that was really annoying this time behind, but Ray immediately aimed at Joe, getting a double kill to become Kabuki's executor. There was no more significant retribution in this Lord fight, or even not a fight because Liquid ID's team had already held dominance around the Lord area. Only Octa was left with a Maybai. This was going to be quite difficult. Okay, but it also seemed like they wouldn't be able to move too far, famous for L players. But being careful enough to retreat in cab was countered by the situation, and even Maesor got a double kill. The bait that worked turned out to be from Octa, considering there was a baby who was already preparing from the back, but yeah, the Lord was still in the hands of Liquid ID, bro. Wow, that was pure bait job for me because I lured 2 players and got Kabuki and Eren. When they got Lord, automatically my friends from Liquid team would not be able to push forward. But in this team fight, I think Kabuki's positioning was really good. He played between the walls of the mid lane area so that all the damage he could do went to Dewa members. But Dewa members couldn't catch him. Oh, in the bottom lane, Ray seems to be a bit trapped. Oh, alone. The problem is there are 3 players from Team ID and Ray must also be lost to Joe, although on the other hand, 4 players from Dewa managed to hold Lord who had been executed by Team Liquid. But losing the jungle seems quite detrimental to AOG. Okay, it still hasn't hit anyone, but Team Liquid must be wary. This combination of Dark Wave and Kin can be a game changer for Dewa. But with the presence of land players, it again disrupts what Dewa United has tried to do. But fortunately, there are no more team fights that both teams wanted, and the gold has started to catch up because the main target was to get the turret in the middle area first. With gold starting to be limited, we can see Ray's pursuit that will soon occur. Especially from his individual gold with Octa. But still, Octa must be able to maintain his position after being defeated 3 times and must take the ultimates that his friends need more.
Yes, even though he is a pure bait, he still has to consider that he is still required to build damage, at least by giving the effect of his glowing 1 life band.
So that Eren's shield won't be 100%. If you look at Eren in front, all his items are Attack items. Wow, and he has started to be disturbed like in this purple buff area. Maybe they won't stay silent between Dewa United or Liquid ID, who could create a split. At any time, his K damage is really painful towards Eren.
Yes, but that's magic, actually magic.
Okay, there is a combination of Avatar of Guardian G away that Dewa United tried to open. But the problem is that Kabuki was trapped, whose free hit could get lives from Kin, and one by one they started to be overset too. His baby disappeared. But 1v1 with Joe Stressless, who was finally executed by Kabuki behind with Sky Piercers, resulted in Ray this time only remaining and being caught out by Ray's positioning, who almost wanted to recall and was cancelled. It wasn't possible for long, but 4 players were lost and now 1 minion that was immediately utilized was maximized to get the base turret. Wow, this is truly a team fight where their ID team once again took control in terms of positioning. Kabuki was completely untouchable. Even the hit earlier, the Dark Wave missed, and that made Dewa unable to continue his team fight. For now his Lord will be free and immediately accelerated even this. Oh, do you want to force Dewa United? Find someone. Again, they want to try to avenge the situation because Kin has immediately done something, and even this time Eren is the one who is punished. But Kin really targets Kabuki. But Kabuki remembers having lethality, which ultimately makes Kin fall. But this problem may dance above the era, but a double kill is pocketed by Kabuki. A triple kill makes Dewa United finally have to choose to retreat. 3 lives were lost with 1 ambition that was actually only to exchange elimination points, but it turned out they were the ones who had to be exchanged. They were the ones who had to lose a lot of objectives. Even now, 1 base turret in the top lane area was also destroyed by Professor Kabuki. Must have snowballed too much. His Skype Pierce was unstoppable. Even earlier, we could see such high damage, and now the Lord will merge to the mid area and immediately head towards B as well. One by one, they will be reduced and the Liquid ID team managed to get the win in the first game. That fast final push with 1 Lord with a mistake that was indeed created by friends from Dewa United. But as usual, the Liquid ID team will not let the gap go to waste. They took advantage and they immediately got the point.
One player who had been very calm in terms of positioning and became a game changer too. Kabuki in the back, who was truly capable of delivering all the rapport and Sonara, including towards Maybai. Look at the high damage to Maybe, who had a shield even though the team fight was really all direct. Wow, 15 minutes, it turns out, I'm
fast.
With our average game, which maybe yesterday there was 29 minutes, and maybe we've experienced Lord evolve more often.
Because it's different, to be honest, the first 3 weeks, because last season, it was only in the 4th week that it started to get intense, right? The
first 3 weeks of last season were like too quiet in my opinion. Okay.
12 minutes, 15 minutes endgame.
Okay. 14 minutes using 2 or Lord endgame.
Turtle only 2. Suddenly later immediately become Lord. The first Lord is 15,000 endgame.
This season is different. Yeah, this season is different. Fast, yeah, on average. And there are some teams whose recovery already understands. Like, for example, they are losing in terms of kill points. Let's
say, for example, the kill points are 80, for example, right? But the empty thing is, the goal gap doesn't reach 5,000. The goal gap is only 2,000, 3,000. So, you can actually catch up with
trades like that, right? There's a trade trend, maybe from farming, from objectives. But it was clear earlier that these Eastern friends were always looking for space for their Kabuki first. Waiting for the Kabuki first. If the Kabuki gets caught, it's okay. What's important is how to recover so that the Kabuki can still deal damage. Yes, and yes, their way of countering the many initiators is actually Dewa's many times. They are the ones who wait for Dewa to open first. Basically, they don't want to open first. And one of the moments that became a crucial moment was one of them in the bottom lane. I feel like Dewa is quite hesitant to initiate when his Octa has started to fall more than 3 times, like okay. Yeah, always copy to various sources, yeah, but most of them, like we saw Bravest Fighter earlier. Which indicates that he has to move forward, but in the end, he's back again, Valentina. And he has Hyos, actually.
He doesn't have to move forward.
Right, but we have player of the game too. Yeah, for the one that's quite shining, Buki's Mist is back again. Kabuki, yeah, not untouchable, yeah, but when he's in a team fight, his positioning is really good.
Veteran,
of course, he has experience, he knows how to recover quickly. And this is one of the interesting ones. Yeah, the mechanical combination that we often see, not only in ranked games, but at the crazy level.
It's exciting to see the head-to-head, yeah, but the rotation that is prioritized to the gold lane area tends to be more towards the top area for Wide-Eye, and it turns out this is quite successful. They shout down maybe so he can't move too much. And back again, in the crucial moment we had earlier in the bottom lane. Actually, CH is also always good. He immediately dinked to the back.
Wid's EOG is also a very targeted place.
Yeah.
Like if the target is different, the result will be different too. And here, look at Kabuki's target. He's shooting too much. He's really playing with Rhapsody. He's playing with Rondo. He's really taking advantage of one territory from his wall that he can really use as a shield there.
Yeah, it's enough to fall at this moment with 2 elimination points directly in Baby's hands. But the rest of the book is free, right? And also Octa wasn't the one who opened earlier.
Yeah, Octa also opened together with this along with Moeza.
But yeah, I feel like Tanya's ultimate copy is the one that's not quite right. So even in a losing position, I think if he really wants AOG, wants to add additional power to his power to give a side effect, then just do it. Oh, he's already fallen 3 times from the start. It's okay to just go for it if he falls more as long as his initiation is more optimal. Yeah, and Wid is also very slanted in the front line area, making any damage dealer from the Liquid ID team will be in a very safe and comfortable position. We see 19 total elimination points compared to just 11, and in terms of itemizations, Widdy is also reaching Twilight. Wow. But this team Liquid seems to be in proof mode, right? The first week, there might still be some
obstacles, if we say so.
Yes.
Because it was proven that during their winning season, they didn't have a very smooth start to the season. In the first few weeks, they just started to move, starting to gain momentum starting from the second week, the third week.
Yep.
Yes, okay, Team Liquid, have you guys gotten a breath of fresh air? Because it's seen in terms of kill points, the gold gap is approaching 7,000. It makes sense if Dewa's friends don't have time to catch up here.
Yes, but the same for Dewa. Also they still need to prove because objectively, they are also very far behind in Turtle Lord. Everything was perfect in the hands of the Liquid ID team, including the turrets and gold, which had already reached 8,000. Ray had a hard time executing his retribution because there wasn't even a gap to get in. Well, in the end, the retribution didn't work.